Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Kirsty and this is Stuck in the Mud. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone. I made it to 1,000 subscribers with all of your kind subscriptions to the channel. I'm really hoping these videos are helping you guys progress forwards with your OCD and anxiety healing journey. And it's amazing news. I started this channel around 18 months ago. And it's wonderful to see how much it's grown in that time and how much I have grown because, you know, I wasn't sure where this was going to go and where I was going to take it. But I'm glad to see that people are responding well to the videos. And that was my ultimate goal at the start. So here's to many more. So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the week I've just had because there was some parallels there really, you know, there was some opposites because on one hand, I was having a really good week because, you know, the channel made 1,000 subscribers. I was feeling great about that. You know, it's something I'd wanted to achieve for a while. And on the other hand, it's been a difficult week in some aspects, especially in my home. You know, the kids aren't well, you know, it's that time of year, it's winter again. All the bugs and viruses are coming through the door. You know, my eldest has pneumonia, which was quite a surprise when we took her to the doctors to find out that. And then my youngest is off preschool, so she's been quite demanding. She's 3, nearly 4, and bless her, she's got a bad cough and she's had a high temp. And then the other night, my son decided to start being sick everywhere, so that was quite unpleasant. So we've had a few things like that, you know, ongoing issues with chest infections, just all that kind of stuff. And it's been quite hard going the last few weeks and especially this week. So like I said, there's been definitely polar opposite things happening. And I wanted to talk about how that affected me because I had noticed this week I was getting more intrusive thoughts. You know, it really became apparent to me. I noticed them coming in, and I remember one particular day I was cooking the tea, you know, our dinner, and I thought, I got this intrusive thought where it was like, you need to repeat the action again because if you don't, something bad's going to happen to you. And you know, these kind of thoughts don't bother me anymore. You know, I've moved on that much in my own healing journey that they just come in and go out as, you know, as quick as they appear, they're gone again. But this particular day, it kind of stuck a little bit. It was there. I remember it coming in and I got more discomfort. I don't usually feel that discomfort as much, if at all, now, you know, I don't really get that because I'm very quick to discard them. You know, I don't really, you know, have to do anything more than just let them be there and they just fade. But then on this particular day, I did feel a bit more anxiety with it, you know, and it kind of took me by surprise a bit because I didn't follow it up. And this is what I wanted to talk about because the urge was there. I felt that urge to do it. And I know how anyone watching this video, following the channel, you know, you get that. You'll understand that urge is quite intense sometimes. You know, that push to kind of do that, you know, that compulsion, do that ritual, repeat that action. It's quite a strong emotion, you know, that feeling within the body, you know, the urge to do it, it's intense at times. And although I didn't do that, I remember, nope, it's there, you just let it be there. You know, it's going to pass, it'll pass on its own in a few minutes and those uncomfortable feelings will subside. And it did. And I think I wanted to talk about as well, you know, why that happens, you know, and I don't like to weigh on it too much because it can definitely become rumination when we're trying to figure everything out, you know, but it is worth mentioning in your recovery journey that, you know, in times of stress, when things aren't quite the same, you know, and my routine has definitely been off this week. Like I said, the kids have been off school. There's been a lot more going on around the house. You know, people aren't feeling well. And, you know, that kind of stress, it does impact you. And that can definitely bring on more anxiety, more intrusive thoughts. So don't be surprised if that happens. I mean, it's easy to want to figure out why that's happening, but it's not necessary because we run the risk then of trying to get involved and working everything out. But it is worth mentioning for your own knowledge, and I think it is important for recovery that, you know, you're aware that these things will happen in times like this in your life. So I didn't follow that thought, and I remember just being surprised, like I said, because it has been a difficult week, and I did, you know, remember, and this is what I want to discuss with you guys, is that self-compassion, because I know initially I felt a lot of shame for having that thought, because I thought, who am I to have that thought? You know, I'm here teaching other people and coaching other people in how to heal, and here's me, you know, just, you know, feeling all the feels with the OCD, and, you know, it made me, for a split second, it was only a split second, but I did feel like, you know, who am I to have these thoughts? But I had to be kind to myself and remind myself, you know, I'm in a difficult situation at the minute. Everything's very stressful and intense in the house. You know, emotions are running high with all the kids. And these things are going to happen. You know, when we heal from OCD and anxiety, we're not the end game we're looking for. We're not looking for a complete absence of anxiety, you know, intrusive thoughts. Those things will still happen. And it's not to say they won't get less, because that's definitely been my case. I don't get as many of those anymore. And a lot of them I barely notice, which everybody gets intrusive thoughts, but they barely recognize them. But we have to be reasonable with our expectations, because I think this is the problem, and it was my problem for a long time, is thinking that I had to get rid of it all, and I wasn't supposed to have anxiety anymore. I wasn't supposed to have intrusive thoughts. But I still get intrusive thoughts. Like I said, you know, I recognize it when I get them. I accept them for being there. This one occasion, like I said, it gave me more emotion with it. But we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to remember that self-compassion is such an important part of the journey. And this is something that I've only really discovered in the last 3 years of my 40 years of having OCD. And it is really key, because we can be so, you know, hard on ourselves when we're going through a disorder like this, because it's hard. It's a really difficult thing to experience in your life. And unless you've been there, you really have no idea of the impact it can have in your life. You know, we often will just think that, you know, we're failing at this. You know, we're trying to get better, but we're actually feel like we're just taking a step back all the time. And we've got to remember and think, you know, that we all make mistakes. Like I said, I could have gone down the road. You know, I really think I had a choice there. I could have followed it. And that would have been the easy thing to do, especially for me years ago. I think the easy thing for me would be to follow it, because it was all I really knew. And it was just that need for, you know, certainty and you know, reassurance that everything was going to be okay. So follow that ritual and follow OCD's rules and repeat that action. But I didn't. You know, and that felt uncomfortable in that moment. Even for me in that moment, because I was having a bad day, and it did feel uncomfortable, but it passed. And that is what I really want to get across, that those uncomfortable emotions and feelings that you'll feel alongside, you know, resisting that compulsion, not engaging in the thought, not ruminating, you know, you will feel some pushback from OCD, and it will feel like you have a bit more anxiety with it. And that definitely happened to me. We can be very judgmental of ourselves, you know, when we're facing challenges like this. But it's important to let that be there, you know, and not be so judgmental over things, and not to suppress those feelings. We're not trying to get rid of them. You know, those feelings are uncomfortable. You know, you're going to feel that real discomfort by letting them be there, but it will pass. And that is a really key part of getting better, is not to suppress or try and get rid of any of those feelings. You know, it's that unconditional self-acceptance. We are all human. We make mistakes. In the past, I would have followed that thought, and because, like I said, it was that pull to do it, and we will have setbacks along this healing journey. It's not an easy process, but it's a worthwhile one. It's going to take some patience and a lot of time and hard work to actually do the work. But we have to realize that like I said, we're not looking here for a complete absence of anxiety. Anxiety saves our lives in certain situations. We need anxiety for things, but obviously with a mental health disorder like this, it just goes off the scale and it becomes unmanageable, and there's things we can do about that. I think a lot of the time we feel like, where do we turn? What do we do now? It almost feels like it's just become too big to contain, too big to manage. But there are definitely things that can be done, and I really, really want to press that home, and send that message out there that there is a way through this. And although it's not a quick fix, it is definitely one that you can achieve with dedication and support. This is important as well, to have that support. And I certainly am looking to start my coaching sessions in the new year, because I really feel like I can definitely give that to people, give that support, and all the things that have helped me through the last few years. I've really come a long way, and it doesn't affect me, like I said, in the way that it used to. It's just completely turned around. But like I said, we are going to have those setbacks, myself included. We're going to have intrusive thoughts, but how we react to them is what we're looking for here. We're not trying to get rid of everything. That is really important. We're not trying to get rid of them, because that is where we can become unstuck, because it actually sends the message to our brain that this is important and we need to hold on to it. So those things won't release when we're trying to suppress, cancel them out, try and change them. They won't go. They will stay stuck, and you'll stay in that cycle. So it's really important to get that message out there that is not the way to handle these thoughts and these urges, these feelings we feel, all the sensations we feel in the body, is let them be there and have that, that acceptance of them being there, which is difficult. It is difficult. It's definitely not easy, but I believe you can do it. If this is something you've struggled with like me for a long time, it can feel quite an uphill battle at first, because you're so stuck in your ways. You're so, we've developed these beliefs over OCD and anxiety, that it's a coping mechanism we've developed over often, it can be many years that we've developed these coping mechanisms to keep us safe. We think they keep us safe when in effect we're just, we're actually just stuck. We're not actually going to break free from the cycle of OCD and anxiety. So we can turn the tables on it. We can definitely, have our lives back from this and actually live fulfilling lives, which is what we should be doing. We shouldn't be held back so much by OCD. And, I really do have a lot of compassion for people going through this, because I know when you're really in the depths of despair with it, it's really not a good place to be. And, we can, like I said, we can be very critical of the fact that we can't do it. We can look at other people and think, well, they can do it, but I can't. And we have to, like I said, just realize that, be more aware of when we're thinking like that, and just, and be kinder to ourselves, just be very, letting those thoughts be there, because like I said, we have to accept that that's there, but we just have to learn to be that little bit kinder, that this is difficult, it isn't easy, and we have to take it slowly. We have to take it day by day. We shouldn't rush anything, because again, that'll have the opposite effect. It's not very helpful. So, we just have to take it in little steps, just different things we can change each day. Just take it, a day at a time, an hour at a time, a minute at a time. When we get those thoughts, just think, well, what can I do today? This is a new opportunity. I can do something different today. I can, I have the choice. I can follow that. It doesn't feel like a choice sometimes. I know that. It really doesn't. And I want to be clear on that, because I don't want it to sound harsh, because that pull is definitely strong, and it feels like your life depends on it. I know, because I even had that the other day. I felt that. I felt like, this is risky. I'm not going to follow it, but it felt like a risk, and it does feel like taking a risk. For a split second, I was thinking, I felt that pull, the urge, but I didn't follow it. And guess what? I don't even remember really what that was about now. I can't actually remember what the threat, was that the OCD was making up. But, I don't consider myself to be ruled by OCD anymore, and that is the key change in me. And that is what I think we should all be aiming for, because if we're just trying to get rid of it, it's just going to backfire. So I really do, hope this kind of advice will help you to see that, we're not trying to get rid of anything. That's just the way for it all to come back to us and come back stronger. You just let that be there, and move forward with your day, as difficult it is. I felt that discomfort the other day, which is something I hadn't felt for a while, when I didn't do as OCD wanted me to do. But I thought, no, be really passive with it. It's okay. You can do what you want. You can hang around, but I'm going to move forward and do what I need to do. And it just faded, and it was quite quick as well. But I also wanted to discuss, I had a dream the other night, and it was a really scary one. Like I said, things have been a bit crazy in the house at the minute, and I had a panic attack in my dream, which is something I've not had for ages. And it was a really scary dream, because I woke up and I could feel the anxiety. I was having a panic attack, and I felt I couldn't breathe in my dream. And in this particular dream, I was also remember thinking, how can I do this? How can I be giving advice to people when I'm in a panic attack and I'm doing this? And it just shows you how the things weigh on your mind, and they, we absorb them. And it was really, like I said, it was quite scary, this dream. I soon got over it, but it was definitely just evidence that that kind of thing will play on our minds, and we can be so self-critical. But we do have to be kind and give ourselves that compassion, when things are difficult. Life is full of ups and downs, and it does feel unfair at times. You can think, this is so unfair that I have this, but life isn't fair, is it? We definitely have peaks and troughs in life. Things happen, and we can often feel like, why me? Why is this happening? But once we get stuck in that cycle of being, trying to work it out, why is this happening to me? We're not moving forward. We can often get stuck in a cycle of being very, negative about why I can't move forward. Why is this happening? And it's just stopping us from doing what we need to do and moving forward through this, because that we can't work that out, because we don't know why things happen to one person and the next person. I do definitely agree that there's a biological influence there in our environment, but it is difficult to go through this. I realise that. I understand it. I know it. I know, but I've definitely moved past and come to an acceptance that these things do happen. But we don't need to work that out. And, we are imperfect human beings in an imperfect world, and things are going to be up and down, and we can't have certainty over why and, what things happen, what's going to happen. And it's a difficult pill to swallow, that I know. And just having that acceptance of it has been a big game changer for me. And it's been a gradual thing. It's definitely not something that's happened overnight, but it's definitely been part of my journey to where I am now. And it's definitely somewhere that I think you can get to too. So thanks for watching today's video. I hope this has helped you. Please let me know in the comments if any of this resonates with you, and I will see you next time.